Hi, friends. This is Father Barry, and it's Day to Day with St. Joseph. And we're on Thursday now in this first week of May 6th. And I've been looking on the internet and talking to people personally about women's point of view and their view on Joseph, the view on Jesus. And one of the things I found that with researching some religious of St. Joseph was that these are women that are practicing a religious life, and they're doing it in model of Joseph, but doing it so as women. So St. Augustine, Florida. So there was a website I went and found a number of things. And one of the things they say about their spirituality and imitating Joseph is at first you need to keep in mind the aim of your vocation, that you have a sublime life, and you're never to do anything which contradicts a commitment to a life full of modesty, gentleness, and holiness. This was one of many maxims I found on the website of the sisters on what they think is a Joseph or Josephite spirituality. They said that they, under Joseph, have come to see the tremendous responsibility they have to the other members of the church, and that the Spirit is at work in them to use who they are. And then they said that as women, or really just children of God, they are called to a life of perfection in the end, which sounds impossible, but Jesus once said, you must be made perfect, just as your heavenly Father is perfect. And so they said that they now try to put on an attitude of letting God's will be done in them. Let a perfect love from above capture their hearts and be loved by God this way, and be pleasing in God's sight then as they abide and strive for this holiness. They said it's not so much about trying to be a perfectionist or have control over everything. That's really almost the opposite of the virtue Christ is asking for. It's a perfection of becoming true of who you are in the love of God. And so these women try to encourage one another in a religious community. Another maxim that they give is to empty yourself continually in honor of the incarnate Word who had emptied himself with so much love for you. And they base that on Philippians 2, verse 7, about the self-emptying of Christ. And they said that for women, in an age where need to advance the cause of women and need to find equality and find inclusion, they said, however, emptying yourself, self-emptying is the way of the Lord. And it certainly was a life of Joseph, of self-emptying. And so practice the most sincere, true, and profound humility possible to you. And then really experience true womanhood in imitation of Joseph. I found that really quite a fascinating thing that they said. He talked about living in reverence of others, trying to respect everybody for who they are, as women certainly want to be treated. And Joseph seems to be the ultimate model of how to treat a woman. And so they say, how about ourselves? Do we cultivate a sincere reverence and respect for the people I come into contact? Am I tolerant of the shortcomings and failures of others? To what do I cling to that separates me from God or neighbor? So these religious sisters are pretty impressive in their devotion, to live the Catholic faith and to live it under the title of being Sisters of St. Joseph. They were celebrating about 150 years of presence in St. Augustine, Florida, which is really where the Catholic Church started in the South, and that diocese. And their presence there today. And they said 150 years ago was all the early interest in Saint Joseph in modern times, and something that a pope did, and so they said that's the reason really for the year of Saint Joseph this year that Pope Francis is doing, and they said that it really works for them because every year is the year of Saint Joseph for them. Now these women also surprised me because this was another maxim they had on their website of lessons of Saint Joseph for their religious women. Esteem the world and its vanities not. Philippians 3:8. I count it all rubbish, said St. Paul. The vanities of the world, and despise the world which is only an illusion, 1 Corinthians 7:31, and reject its maxims which are full of deceit and impiety. So they said there's certainly the way of the Lord and there's a way of the world, and there's a choice to be made as a woman of faith. Of course, Mary would be a model of a great choice, but here these are sisters again of Saint Joseph, and they say, what are the standards that the world has a hold of or them, and how can they be of Christ and his kingdom? Are they countercultural enough that shows that they're not following the ideals of the world but of the Lord? What are the deepest desires of their heart? And they said that women's desires can be so deep, run so deep, and their cares and concerns. But they said that this is what directs them through Joseph to the Lord. They see a love in his heart that they want. So that community's been down there a long time, and so they have some things on their website. You can go through all their maxims and look at all the Bible verses that go with them, and you can take a look at other things they have, like prayer cards and some other things. But this was some of the surprising words I got from women and their perspective of Saint Joseph and how to live Joseph in their own female kind of way. We conclude with a picture of Joseph, a mosaic from Washington, D.C. That's him on the left side. And, of course, the Damiano cross on the right. But Joseph is depicted as he is in the JP2 Cultural Center Chapel, right there in Washington, D.C., the other big place next to the Immaculate Conception Basilica of Mary. So let's take a closer look. Thank you. Next time. The meditations were taken from the Sisters of St. Joseph of St. Augustine, Florida. And they have a renewal center there and a website. And you can go to the website and order some Go to Joseph prayer cards. It has a prayer on the back. And you can order some cards if you'd like. This is a very nice picture of Joseph and Jesus, very different.